Euphoric royal watchers around the globe are having a very good day, or perhaps a sleep-deprived day. Prince William and Miss Catherine Elizabeth Middleton are officially hitched. They are the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. It is my pleasure to welcome Keith Roy, the Western Canadian Dominion Vice Chair of the Monarchist League of Canada, to Studio 4 to tell us more.
Hello.
Are you sleep-deprived today?
I think most of us are. I got up at 1:30, 2 o'clock, watched most of it, got back to bed for another hour before heading out on a regular day.
So did I.
Yeah.
So collectively, we had 3 hours sleep, maybe.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would. I thought I'd turn it on and then I'd go back to bed. No.
I think it was toughest for British Columbians to get a hold of this wedding because of the time difference. Certainly our friends in Toronto, and particularly our friends in Halifax, were able to watch it at a much more reasonable hour.
What hooked you on the royal family and the monarchy?
Yeah, I differentiate between two types of people. There's constitutionalists, and, constitutional monarchists, and royalists. And the American celebrity loves the royalty aspect of it and the pomp and circumstance. I'm a political science student, and I've always just enjoyed the role of constitutional monarchy as protecting our rights and freedoms and being that stable form of government that has proven the most effective form of government in the history of humanity.
Aren't you a titch young to be in the league, the Monarchist League?
You'd be
or
surprised.
Not?
You'd be surprised how young the Monarchist League is and how young the response has been. My understanding is the event at the Fairmont Hotel Vancouver was mostly young women between the ages of kind of 25 and 40.
I'm going for high tea today at 2.
Perfect. I mean, that's the reports I've seen, and you'll fit right in there.
Apparently. So what did you think of the wedding?
Well, you know, I haven't heard a single bad review. I did enjoy it. The reason people are so excited about this and the reason they've enjoyed it so much is because it reminds people of their own weddings. We have a kindred spirit with the royal family. They're part of our extended family. You know, I'm
it was
not
certainly
far off.
joyful. It was my wedding wasn't quite that splashy.
Most people's weren't, but this is where wedding trends are set. We're going to see a lot of trends set out of this wedding, just as we know that the white dress came from Queen Victoria as a concept. Prior to that, women wore all colors of dresses to their weddings, and we'll see some new trends come out of this wedding.
We'll definitely see lace sleeves.
Lace sleeves, I understand, are coming back. Look, I'm no expert on this stuff. I was listening to a wedding planner this morning and a fashion designer. Lace sleeves are going to be back. The idea that a bridesmaid can wear an ivory-colored dress,
Same as the bride.
Exactly.
It was beautiful.
It was. It looked
I
wonderful.
liked how it all came together, but you're right. The new Duchess will set trends.
Certainly.
Fashion trends, for sure.
She's been doing it already, and she seems to be quite good at it. She carries herself well. The designers have a lot of fun with the outfits they put on her, and she's a very striking woman.
How does the title thing work?
Well, had the Queen not granted Prince William a title, she would have become Princess William. She would have effectively lost her name in the marriage. Talk about being overtaken by your husband.
Yes.
But
and the bishop warned against that.
And the bishop did warn against that. She also didn't, like Diana, she didn't use the obey part in her vows, which had previously been used by royal weddings. But what happens with the title is they are granted the title by the Queen, and they were given the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, which hasn't been used, I think, since the early 1800s.
Really?
It had just kind of fallen away. Prince George used to be the Duke of Cambridge. But what will happen then is, because they become the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, she becomes Her Royal Highness Princess Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge.
So she will become Princess Catherine?
Yes.
Prince William, Princess Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge, as Camilla is the Duchess of Cornwall.
Yes, and Princess Diana became Princess Diana. Her Royal Highness, sorry, I forgot to add the Royal Highness in now with Miss Middleton, who's now Catherine.
So Ms. Middleton will now be...
She's Her Royal Highness Princess Catherine, Duchess of
Really?
Cambridge. Yes, she gets a Royal Highness.
So not just the Queen is the Royal Highness.
The Queen is Her Majesty.
Her Majesty, right. Got to get this straight.
It's
the Queen
very
is
difficult.
Her Majesty, a Royal Highness. So how many Royal Highnesses do we have?
Dozens.
Does England have? Dozens.
Yeah, dozens. And they're ours as well. This isn't just a British institution. This is a Canadian institution.
It is a Commonwealth.
Exactly.
I hear tell.
Exactly.
Yes. So when Queen Victoria wore white, did that mean all the others who were married in the abbey or the cathedral, or not the cathedral, but the church, have to wear a white dress? Was that a precedent-setting thing? Do you know?
It became a precedent-setting thing. It wasn't an official precedent. It just became in the same way that I suspect lace sleeves will become the precedent of this wedding season and the wedding season for years to come.
It's just a fashion thing.
Yeah.
Of all the royals, the Queen Mother seemed to be everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
What was it for you?
Well,
or was she?
Well,
or do you have a favorite?
The Queen has always been my favorite. I've always felt a kindred spirit with William. I was born in 1981. He was born in 1982, and we've effectively grown up together. And certainly he doesn't know what's going on in my life, but I've watched his life. And I remember when they came to Vancouver they went to Whistler with their father. And
they were like rock stars.
Exactly, wearing the Roots hat and the girls screaming. When I was going through high school, my biggest competition was Prince William, right? That's the one that all the girls wanted.
Of course.
So, he's the one that I feel the most kindred spirit with.
I loved Harry in the ceremony today.
Well, I think that's
now,
the
what's
story
Harry's
of the day.
title?
He's Prince Harry.
Prince Harry.
Yeah. I think he's the story of the day because he just became the world's most eligible bachelor. I got more than one text and Facebook message from girlfriends that I have who were saying that, look how hot Harry is. He's the new guy. They really like him.
And he turned around as she was coming down the aisle and had a little look and said something to his brother.
They had lip readers in the Abbey watching the cameras. They did.
Of course they did.
And apparently he said, go for it. So.
And the first royal to be married in the Abbey had to be 1200.
Yeah. I don't know who the first one was. We're going back so far.
George first?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
But
it's such a beautiful place. And to think that Jane Austen and Darwin and Chaucer
there's just so much history
are
in the
buried
building.
underneath.
Yes, and particularly for William, having his mother's funerals service at the Abbey, there's just such a profound family. That's the family church of the royal family.
It's incredible.
And having the maple trees in there, I think, really. I've been in the venue, and it is a Gothic figure, and it's quite large. But to have the maple trees in there, I think was a little nice Canadian touch. But it was also a way to really bring home.
I thought it was a wonderful touch, and they're going to, of course, they're going to plant them somewhere else. They will not die.
There's a lot of good things. There's a lot of good things.
A lot of new messages, didn't you think?
Yeah, there's just a lot of good things going to happen out of this wedding. Look at the community and the sense of community this wedding has built. People having coffee parties, and you're going to a tea party this afternoon. People getting up at 1 in the morning to go to the Fairmont and share a tea with, get dressed up formally at 1 in the morning to share tea with friends. This is bringing community together. This is a world experience, and it's a very positive world experience. And unfortunately, the world usually only comes together in times of turmoil and strife. This is a time of happiness and excitement for the world, and a third of the world has taken part in this wedding and been a part of it, and that's just a wonderful thing to see. What
happens after Her Majesty is no more?
Well, it's not something we like to talk about. However,
I'm sure not.
However, Charles will succeed the throne. There's no question. My understanding, I think Charles is now the longest-serving monarch in waiting in the history of the family.
That sounds right.
And the Queen's about 3 years off of having been the longest-serving monarch to outlast
And does she
Victoria.
have the option of going or staying? How does that work?
No. The Queen could abdicate the throne like her uncle did, which led to the succession to her, but she won't. She has devoted her life to service. She will remain on the throne until the day she dies, at which point Charles will take over.
And Camilla will then be called?
There's some...
This is the Duchess of Cornwall. We're not supposed to call her Camilla anymore.
This will still be a bit of a political debate. Charles said years ago that she would not become queen, and then there's been rumors that she might be called queen or queen consort. I think that's a conversation that will take place at the time. The British public and the Canadian public have embraced Camilla. She's been great to the boys love her. The public loves her. She's doing as much good service as anybody else in the monarchy does.
And the king after Charles would naturally be William?
Yes, so it goes to William because he was the firstborn male heir.
What if it was a female?
Well, the 1701 Settlement Act basically says there's two provisions in it. It's obviously quite comprehensive, but there's two provisions. One, the monarch can't marry a Catholic, and two, the monarch has to be male if a male comes along. Otherwise, it would go to a female. But there's a lot of talk within the realms. All the Commonwealth countries would have to change their legislation to mirror the legislation because the Crown is a shared institution. I don't think it'll be a major political debate. I think in England we saw Tony Blair, a Catholic, become Prime Minister, and it wasn't an issue. We've seen Elizabeth serve very successfully on the throne for almost 60 years now. Victoria served for 63 years. So when we look at the institution, it's certainly not a masochistic institution. It's very equal in terms of male-female. Just the rules, the way they're laid out, it would go to the firstborn male heir.
And as the Duchess of Cambridge came down the aisle and went over the grave of the unknown warrior, Diana, I believe, laid her bouquet. Not then.
No, Diana didn't get married there. Diana and Charles got married
that's right. She got married at St. Paul's.
What had happened was the Queen Mum, when she got married, she was not obviously the Queen, she went by the tomb and laid her bouquet in memory of her brother, Fergus, I believe his name was. Which is kind of where that tradition started. And I didn't see that tradition continued today, and I was kind of expecting it. But perhaps I missed it in some of the coverage.
No, I didn't see it either, and I watched.
She may have gone with her bouquet after. I never saw where that bouquet went, but I would suspect it would be something to that effect. It would certainly go to a military memorial site just because of the connection that William and Harry have serving in the forces.
Right, and the kiss on the balcony, did you see it?
I did, as traditional as ever.
2 kisses.
2 kisses. One was a bit of a fatherly peck on the cheek. You know, these people are British, they're not French.
Right.
So,
will she be forever referred to as a commoner in spite of the fact she has title and she's married
no, she will be the Queen.
She will be the Queen.
Yeah.
So that...
She will not reign like the current Queen. She will be the Queen. She will be the consort of the King.
Of course.
But she will become the Queen.
So, what kind of day is this for you?
Well, this is a story that mirrors the story of many of us. I mean, it's a young romance. It's an off and on relationship. It's 8 or 9 years of courtship. They broke up. They got back together. This is a girl who got to marry. For women, this is a great story. If you're a 29 or 30-year-old woman looking for your Prince Charming, look what's happened.
One day my prince will come.
This woman just got her Prince Charming. Literally, a man who she used to have posters of on her wall, and she just got married in the Abbey.
I know.
What a great story.
It is a great story, and I know some people think it's silly, and I think it's great.
The only arguments I've heard against it are, it's too expensive or we don't need it.
Well, and that too.
But I liken that argument to the anti-Olympic people. Sure, we didn't have to have the Olympics, and sure, we don't have to have these ostentatious royal weddings, but why not? What a great opportunity to come together for something positive and celebrate and throw a party. And Britain in particular has had such a bad time through this recession. What a great way to bring up the public spirit.
I bet you wish you were there today.
I do.
Well, I'm sure that the cran juice and the Grey Goose will be flowing.
I'm happy to be here nonetheless.
Thank you. Keith Roy, our guest.